drop. Hey, if I keep white on one screen, I get better lighting. Who knew? Let's reload that, reload that. Live at 1600 KB. 3% CPU, and that's on a really high setting. Wow, that's insane. Well, while I'm waiting to verify that that's actually online, let's see. I am connected to my Sound Blaster. Cool. It's saying I'm offline still. Let me check on these actual sites. Okay, I'm not loading websites, so something's up. Download tests so I don't kill my upload. Oh, wow. Okay then. That's pretty slow. Tons of variance and no speed. Well, okay, stream's probably dead. Let's see. Oh no, it says it's up. Temporary drop in internet. That's fun. Hey, how you doing, Lightning? I don't know what was happening, but for whatever reason, I was having no internet for a second. It is raining here, and they're notorious in my area for leaving the water seals open on the cable lines after doing repairs. So I might get flooded out. I'd have an internet drop. Whatever that was, though, I don't know. Find out. Yeah, everything's saying I'm live now. Oh, and that would be Twitch saying, hey, you should use our dashboard. Screw you, Twitch! Okay. Getting some very strange load times here. It says I'm live. Just takes forever to load a website. My download was 2 megs. It does not bode well for my upload, but I can't test my upload because I'm uploading. So what we're gonna do is just hope that this works. Let me know if the stream gets really weird. I can stop it and restart my my hardware and see. Sometimes my router just kind of freaks out. Whenever we get weird signals from the line because it's raining, sometimes I just need to restart the router itself. But that would require I kill the stream and all that. So let me know if it gets unbearably like choppy or something. That's probably what's happening, is I just don't have the upload. Okay, let's see here. File. Open recent. I forget where we were. There's a puppy dog. What? What dog? What? You want to be on camera? It's a dog. I call her Scrappy. She likes to eat table scraps. But she's Ridley. That's her name. I know. You just want me to pet you. Okay, where were we? Right, we have to do less obvious shadowing. That's right, it's groups within groups. The symbols are so hard to see! Ah! Yeah, if you get right on the screen, you can definitely see it. Okay. Let's see, so where were we? We had, let's see, that's the bed liner and accessories. That should be our shadowing for the sheets and the sheets alone. So that's where we currently need to be. Don't know what my color swatches. Yeah, they're blank. KRA files do save color swatches. I really need to get into the habit of putting dedicated color swatches. There's a... That's a cool tool. There is a Docker that I can load up that lets me just use a palette of colors, and it saves that when you save the file. I really should save that. I'm good at picking colors for the most part, so it's not too big of a deal, but still. Bad habits and all. Okay, so effectively we had to do that color. Right? Did it just pick a color or not? It did. Okay. So we wanted to pick the cooler side, the greener side, I believe, and apply that to this layer. Of course, we have to pick the right tools. Yeah, that's what my shadows are made of. A little less saturated, little there. Yep, there we go. Now I remember everything! The world is mine! Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Well, first of all, let's get the brush large enough to actually do something. Second, we gotta make sure we're zoomed in at least to 50%, or it's gonna freak the almighty hell out. It actually doesn't work too well for us, but we'll see. Okay. Painting! That is alpha locked, yes, yes. Effectively, effectively we have dark in this area here because it's going to be bound up underneath the other covers and blocked. The other light won't be able to really see this area. That's definitely going to be darker than the rest. We're going to, again, kind of work our way out to it. Okay, we're going to have a bit of shadow there, bit of a shadow there. When I draw these, by the way, whenever I draw crests, I actually draw the crest, the very top. I draw silhouettes. Some people draw the side silhouettes, and I draw what makes sense to me is vertical silhouettes. So the actual peaks, if this was a mountain, that would be the peaks of the mountain. So I am always going to end up shading different than most people. I shade to the side of it. It's just a personal touch thing. I like showing the hard crease that happens when you have a fold in fabric, so, you know. Where exactly is our light in, oh, the exact corner, that's right. And the beautiful part about this is that it doesn't actually require much of anything. Oh, my stream just loaded on my other window. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we don't really need to do too much of anything because this is going to cover up most of it. General shading is going to matter, but not necessarily as much as the other areas. Plus, we're going to crop a fair amount. We're going to crop off right about here. It doesn't really matter that we color all the way down. So we have that. That's our basics. We can expand upon it. So draw covers folding on themselves. Draw the opposing line, which will be light coming off of the peaks. Okay, so we have a leg right here, which means we actually need to kind of overtone it. This spike here was kind of originally supposed to be that, but it's no longer that. So now we're going to say that this is where the leg is under this splotch. Do you think I could design you an OC? Original character, I guess. Yes. Yeah, I like having projects, strangely enough. One thing I need to do is update all my commission stuff because it does not include art, but more than anything, I don't know where my commission stuff on Sofari is for stories. But yeah, I don't aim to make money, I aim to fulfill a hobby. So one thing is I have a nice drawing tablet that I actually just recently got because I was fed up with another tablet that is a secondary screen now. It was so bad, I literally am just like, screw it, it's just a monitor now. But that's the thing with a hobby is hobbies should pay for themselves over time. I expect I'm going to be using this for maybe 8 years, unless they come up with some radical new technology. It'll be roughly 8 years before it dies. Like I won't be able to use it anymore. And I use these things till they grind up to the dust they came from. But if I can make back a part of the price of it, I consider that a good hobby, a hobby that pays for itself. I'm not looking to make like thousands of dollars like some artists. So I'm cool with working out cheap stuff because more than anything, I'm getting experience out of it. Like that's my thing is the hobby in and upon itself is worth what it's worth. You don't do something because you like the actual doing, then you don't necessarily like the hobby. You want it to be a job, and a job is not a hobby. Like straight up, a job cannot be a hobby. A little bit of side shadowing, which is not, that's way too close. Side shadowing, just to show that there's, you know. Okay, so that needs to be pretty rough. Not so rough. There we go. We can shrink this guy down a little bit. Start doing the actual sub-shadowing. Closer. But yeah, to brief your question there, yeah, I absolutely have no problem doing OCs. To a certain degree, there's some that are like, what the hell? Like, everyone has their limits. But, you know, that limit's pretty wide and open for me. God damn it, watch. Do I need to charge that? No. Oh, I lost my chat. Herb? Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom. I'm gonna roughly shadow this in. It doesn't need to be crazy. Okay. Really, this goes on nice and low, but then I'm going to come back with the big brush again and blend it all. If I need to. Usually these little straight swipes are actually really good for sheets because you can show that they're bunching. Really light. Oh god, how did that turn into Mario? Random sounds are now Mario. Oh, I never did start my print. Oh! Oh! That's unacceptable! Pangolin! Let's do it! Okay. So, again, let's take a look. We'll cover that up and take a look at our shade layer. Hey, that looks pretty good. I like that. See, doesn't take much for sheets. We do need to do the whites of the sheets here, which have no sublayer, I believe. I have to think about that. The bed liner needs to come too, which more or less is going to be thin strokes like that. Let's do the dang. Do the sub of the sheets. It's going to take a little bit of going physical here. Let's see, a new multiply layer, and I should be able to do the same type of color and it would blend, so I'm not going to stress over it. Whoop 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 boop 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 boop. You know what it is? I'm not listening to music, so I'm singing. Let's not do that. Let's listen to real music. I almost want to do European. What's it saying my daily mix is? Yep, pretty much Snail's House, Pogo. Oh, let's give it a shot. That sounds pretty good. Starting off with the real. Yeah, that layer, because it's white-ish, I actually need to lower the opacity on it. That's about right. Okay, that's not bad. So, what was that? I should know what that button was. You're back! Good, good, good. Wait, have a... Oh, that's my screen switcher! There we go. I'm back. Had to get to the screen I'm actually working on. I kind of need to watch the beginning of this print because it looked a little iffy on the surface area. One thing I need to do is actually correct the angle on that. Looks like it purged okay, so let's see if it prints. Okay, so I was concerned since it had a lot of zigzags in that first layer. It looks like it is smushing and sticking. I'm gonna say it's probably okay. Maybe. Oh man, that thing's printing right up to the edge. Okay, well... it looks doable. I'm gonna say it's probably fine. Okay, so we have our bed liner we need to do. Let's give that a layer. And that's gonna be another multiply. So the bed liner is that color. So that puts us at roughly a cyan if we wanted a decent. We'll go with teal. Means that's probably our color? Oh wow, yeah. Still a little dark. There we go. Saturation's just about right. So, we're gonna do big swipes, which are not gonna be crazy. I need to zoom in because it's having glitches. Okay, so. So what we need to do first, of course, alpha lock it. We need yeah, we can go over this all we want. We need to group these so it doesn't do the overlap with the actual pillow. Okay, so I think that lets us do what we want. Yeah, there we go. So we have to take that into account first. There is going to be a shadow for the pillow. Going to be a kind of feathery one. There's going to technically be a little bit of hardness to that shadow. Going to feather out pretty quickly. Ditto here. I try and get the stem of the pillow, that hook on the end here is going to be slightly off the surface, so it's going to fade but still be visible. Now we want to make the sheets themselves a little uneven, so we can do some stuff like this. Really just comes down to making hard and soft strokes and blending them. Over here it's going to be lighter because we actually have a lightness there, but we're going to do little keystrokes here and there. So let's get the edge of the bed going. So over here it'll be darker. It's going to get lighter as it gets towards the source of light. Subsequently less round. There we have a little bit more. Even though it's technically right next to the light, we're going to explain it as being near a wall and all. Hey Foxy, thanks for following. Thanks for watching. So, where was I? We have our basic little tiny swatches that we're not really caring so much about, and they're kind of more than we actually have to worry about. Little ambient occlusion, never a bad thing. Fill in there and there. Maybe that was a bit much. Does not take much because this is going to darken very, very, very hard. We're going to put some basic shadows down. This will need some shadow, some hard shadow, actually. Whoop, 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 whoop. break that up into sheet goodness. Same goes there. Keep in mind the source of light is over here. So coming down this way, the shadows are actually going to be stronger, not on the just the right side, but actually low and to the right. So that's why this is a little darker here. I think that actually is a pretty good representation there. Little ambient occlusion is fine. We'll put some extra sheet folding. I don't want to put super thick folds. Okay, that's way too hard. No, I'm just gonna have to go down in size a bit. Okay, let's go down a little bit more, and we'll do our actual. We'll do our actual sheet strokes. Again, they don't need to be crazy accurate. They just need to exist. So over here, damn it, eraser. Okay, over here we're gonna have little tiny crease lines going over the edge. That's just how bed liners tend to work. Do do do. Now we can sharpen this shadow. It's going to be a more discrete shadow. Okay, and we can make this bigger. Give it a little bit of stuff. Need to try that one again. Cool. So let's get our smudge out. Moving tools around on me? It is. Some of these are not tools that I actually have put in this bar. Got rid of my smudger. That is a little strange. Ah, that might work. There we go. Absolutely perfect. Yo, sugar daddy! Don't need the tiger. Okay. Keep that there, and I'll put this back on my favorites. Okay, so we're gonna go back to this guy. Just some texture there more than anything. Boom, and now we can go to... I I can find it. Where was it? This guy. A little bit of texture. Never hurt anyone. Until it started crashing the program. That's beautiful. And that gives us a little bit of a fabric texture, more than anything. Okay. Do I go to furry conventions? If I can. I have very rarely attended any conventions, really, because I have a lot of stuff that I do for work and whatnot. But I do actually have vacation time that I'm no longer taking for other reasons. I used to take vacation time for personal things, getting things done and all that. But now I have pretty good vacation time with my new job. Okay, so when I apply this, that looks pretty good. Oh yeah. I like it! Yeah. Okay, so let's find our accessories layer, which I think it's that. And then the floor itself, which is its own. We're gonna make a layer above that. Just do them all at once. We're gonna make it a multiply layer, and we're gonna make a new group layer. Put all this in it. That way we can go alpha lock on this layer. And oh, that's a blender. Hold up, I actually need a real brush. Yes, that's going there. So we have very warm colors here. We can do a select on it. So that one's there, that one's more red. So somewhere here, so our opposite's gonna be this bluish. Slightly more on the blue side of things. That's more yellow. Yeah, I do need to go extra blue. That's pretty good. Blue, 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 blue. Okay. Zoom in just a bit more so it doesn't freak out. In fact, let me save before it dies. We're gonna put some general shadowing here. I'm gonna put a fair amount of shadowing down here. We're going to assume that the light is bright enough that it's going to reach into most cracks and crevices. So we have that. Like I said before, ambient occlusion. What's my name? You can call me Otter. That's what I go by online. My persona's Carbon Fiber Optic. So you can call me Carbon, that's fine. My actual name, I have no problem if someone like finds my name. I don't care if someone knows it, but I would rather prefer not actually handing it out willingly. And that's actually a like anti-Google, anti-Facebook kind of thing. They're doing some weird things. Like I said about ambient occlusion before, it accumulates in things like corners of rooms. Guess if I want to, I really have to go darker. But we're gonna come back. So the goal is, hey, that kind of looks like it's a corner. Now it really looks like a corner. So let's go a little wider, a little bigger. We're gonna show, hey, look, there's a lip under here. This will have a little bit. The underside of each drawer has a bit. We'll have some just to show there's a texture here. And I'm not going crazy. This will have a tiny bit underneath it. So that's going to be vastly different. We're going to have a tiny shadow here. Just enough to kind of make it known that there is a shadow. Okay. Next up, we have our drawers, which we're going... What the hell? Give me my pen back! We're gonna draw crests under the drawers, as if they actually have more space underneath them. Not necessary, but we're gonna do it. This definitely needs to have some. We're gonna make it look like it's rounded. Same goes for here. Okay, this needs to have a little bit just to ground the lamp, even though it's technically a light source, we're going to ground it. The rug does not necessarily need anything. In fact, it's going to be so dark towards that edge that it really doesn't matter. One thing we can do is put really small board lines. We're gonna just let it get sloppy because it's gonna be in the dark anyway. And we can put cross boards. Maybe don't go past. Right, so we can put the occasional cross board. There we go. So to the untrained eye, that'll look like a wooden floor. Of course, that is a little strong of a layer, so we can actually lighten on it. We're gonna need to, actually, when it comes down to it. Put something around there. Okay, now we have to make our light source. Oh, I forgot. We have to actually draw the light, but we'll make the light gradient first. So that's going to be another modification layer we're going to make on top of this. We're going to need warmish light. Go with yellow greenish light, and we'll do our gradients. I can remember where the gradient tool is. There it is. Tool options. We don't need radial technically here. Now, conical I think is one that I need. They very specifically made conical for reasons. Conical symmetric, I think is the one I'm thinking of. Oh, I have it in reverse. I can literally go, here's my light source, and I can draw it out to where I want it to kind of reach to. And it does that. Now, the type of layer I want for this is, I think it's going to be addition. I'm trying to think of how you do this the correct way. Hey, luminosity, that's the wrong one. Just lighten everything, that's horrible. Screen, no, screen was way too crazy. We have our base gamma light, which I don't think was right. Hard light's a decent one. In any case, I need to add, put another damn gradient. No! Color dodge, that might be the one I'm thinking of. Definitely not that. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen divide work like you think it should. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an arithmetic here. It's no, it's not any of those. Hard mix! Parallel I've never actually seen a use for. Hard overlay was maybe it. Now that's a colorizer. Behind. I don't think I've used behind in any meaningful way. Hey, we have geometric mean, which is not bad. What is my profession? I write software for a medical clinic right now. Okay, so we're gonna take this and yeah, let's clear this for now. Okay, conical, not bad. I don't really... What the hell just happened? Oh, come on! I'm gonna lift my hand up off the surface because I forgot to put my glove. What is printing? A beautiful pangolin. Okay, now that it shouldn't trigger, Or it does anyway. Why are you doing this? We'll try a bilinear. Like, it's like I'm hitting some kind of button that I'm not. What's going on? What the hell is going on with this thing? That was weird. I don't know what that was. Here, let's do a normal layer so I can actually see what I'm looking at here. That's useful there. What I really need is a combination of the two. So I need a radial coming out. I need this to be like there. Shaped gradient. No clue what a shaped gradient actually is. We're not gonna actually care. So we have that. We have the radial that's coming off of there. Do a long scale one. We'll do a short scale one again. Conical this way is what I'm looking for. We'll see. Or like conical upward. Or to this side. Cool. We're gonna say that's about right. Let's do our layer type here. Let's go through them. We'll see which one actually looks like it should. Yeah, gamma is not the right one. Hard light's gonna be actual hard. Lighter color, man. I don't think it's going to be our screen. That doesn't make sense here. Overlay is going to be slightly darker, so that's not right. Raider. Nope, not going to be one of our mixes. Those generally are kind of weird. Oh, wow. What I think I might need is actually hard light, but come on, why not? I think I need to be a little more light about how I actually put this down. So we're going to do a radial. Right. Then we're going to set the next one to super light on the one side. I do that. It should, no, it's not grading, right? Okay. Okay, that might work, but we have to find the right mode. Addition I don't think is quite right, but it could do the job. The lighten, you're going to get too much of a kind of contrasty blend. Luminosity tends to work if you just want like actual lightness. That's what I'm forgetting about. Yeah, we don't want just an addition because we're colorizing. What we actually need is screen might be the right one. I'm trying to remember which one actually does full transfer. This doesn't seem like it's doing what I want it to here. Dodging, and then do I have a color dodge, which technically is part of what I want. In fact, I might need to do this on a double layer, so let me duplicate this. Do a... Would Gamma work? Gamma does kind of get it done. That's what I needed to do. So what the gamma layer does is it changes the actual gamma, the multiplier of brightness. And that's kind of what I needed, but I also needed to colorize, which is what a dodge layer does, the color dodge layer. I mean, that's what it looks like without all of this. You turn that on and hey, that actually looks really good. There we go. That's about right. So let's do a save. So next step, we have to actually do a lightning layer on top of everything. I'm just going to do one big layer. Right, that's my layer, good. Now, I should be able to get away with a lightning layer, but we can try a linear dodge layer. Because dodging is different than lightning. Oh yeah, lightning, if you're going to do some homework, go right ahead. Yeah, I'll be kind of working on this, but it's going to be a little bit until I actually get something more showing. So feel free to drop in every now and then. Keep the music open if you want. But yeah, I'll just be doing this. No biggie. I don't want to hold you back if you need something done. Okay, so that's going to be a warm-ish light. Let's get our swabs back. I thought that picked your brush, but I guess it does not pick your brush anymore. Okay, so what we're going to want is slightly warmer, a little less saturation and brightness. That way we can put it down all we need. So let's do the phone first. Phones here are going to be real simple. They're just going to have this bit of highlighting. This one's going to show it the most. Nothing big, but it kind of makes them pop a little more. So no real need to actually put anything there. We can kind of put some color on our boards. Again, we don't need to do too much to this. It's more or less just to kind of highlight the boards. Don't crash on me! Okay, so this, let's grab our green and we're going to take that a little warmer, a little brighter too. It should just paint directly on. Actually, as a dodge layer, I can go darker. So our shade needs to be kind of see-through-ish. Means we have to lighten it and kind of give it that sense that there's a light through there. Pillow needs a slight highlight here. We're not going to go crazy. We're going to pick that color. We're going to warm it. Bring it really down low because it's going to be really bright. Actually, that was about perfect there. We're not going to make too many highlights. We don't really need to. If I hit that, by the way, my right click pulls up that menu, but I hold this typically in the middle of the pen, and then sometimes I'll do a stroke that taps my finger. We don't need to do too much. I very purposely kind of want this to be a kind of want this to be a nice highlight-ish, not crazy. Okay, now when it comes to the bed itself, we're going to grab that mid, keep hitting right click because other programs, a little bit warmer. I have to make it darker because, yep, take it and we go way larger. And you'd be like, why are there shadows right next to highlights? And that's none of your business. Doesn't matter. Again, we don't need to make crazy highlights. We're just aiming to kind of take some of this that's poking up rather high and should be catching light. In some cases, it'll just be slivers of light, right? In the case of, say, this otter tail, we need a color that matches. I keep hitting right click to pick color. Damn you, critter! But that should be a rather simple braid. And go here, and go lighter, and go whoop. Super broad. Okay, now here we get a little weird. We're gonna have to pick kind of this color, make it slightly more warm. We're gonna darken it and desaturate it so it doesn't screw things up. We don't need much, we just need enough. Because, again, it's soft light that we're trying to put on top of everything, not this crazy light. If we go smaller, that might work there, it does. All right, so we're gonna have little tiny bits that will be highlighted here. Hand needs a little bit. Boop, boop. Notice how there are shadows here on the lit side of the hand. We put shadows. That's ambient occlusion, which is safe to lightly go over. The point is that we wanted to make it so that when we put our highlights down, it blends and desaturates like an actual ambient shadow would do. We're mostly just putting accent highlights. And nothing very particular, just a couple of odd stripes maybe. To highlight little tiny pieces. So that's more subtle because we want it to be subtle. Just like we want that to tiny bit be subtle. Okay, that does it for the cabin. Okay, now we need to have Adrian, which I'm going to say this is going to be his actual primary, and it's going to be close to what we need, so we make it a fair amount warmer, with a little more color and darker. Yeah, that looks about right. So he's more in the light. Yep. So that looks decent. Let's give him a little higher size here. Let's give him strokes on his arm. Increase the extra. That's going to include a slight downturn here. Accentuate that he actually does have an arm there. No, I did not do that. I think I'm in the same color bracket, so we can try and do this one. Oop. Looks pretty good. This is a tricky one. Kind of the opposite of what you get. I have light coming through and cascading, but his hand here, Carbon's hand, is going to obscure some of that light. Okay, so we're gonna have that lit up. Hell yes. That's gonna be lit up. I need to go a little smaller. Eyelid's gonna have some light. And with this eyelid, but not by much, because there's a shadow in the way, and that's from that. That ear definitely needs a little bit of something. Not much, just a little. Here, we're gonna have more of a actual faded color. Gotcha. Okay, let's do the rest of the body before we move on to the other bits. Can't really see that. That should be lower than it should be. So we're gonna do that and a little bit of drawback there. I'm gonna assume that the occlusion here is gonna stop some of that light, so we're not gonna go too crazy. Just like there. Okay. Also means that even though we're kind of in darkness, we do want to put a fair amount of highlighting on the tail and the leg. More or less for contrast than anything else. This blue definitely needs to be modified. We're going to bring it into the warmer spectrum by a long shot. Okay, not terrible. We're not going to put any highlights on the sheets because we don't really need to. We'll put them on the whites of the sheets, but nothing else. I'm not sure if there is a color to that, but we're going to pick it anyway. Pink is generally the go-to. If you have white and you don't know what to do with a warm light source, just make it pink. Because pink is a non-visible color, so when you actually start blending, dodging into it, I mean, it's pink, right? But there you go. It's just good for little tiny light sources. It blends well and stays light, but you can come back over it with a bit of blue when you're done. This right here, this blue here. Come over it with a bit of blue and it kind of cancels it out until you get the right color. Cool. So we're going to do that. We'll go back to here. And again, it's not much. It's just enough to give you that hint of light actually hitting the edge. I kind of like it. Okay, let's do some hair. So, Carbon's hair is pretty much that color there. Means we're going to have to bring this, I don't know, really far over, I think. Boop, boop. That looks about right. That looks about right. Okay. Goal is to make it look silver, and that's exactly what I'm aiming for with this color match. Not bad. Kind of the color I was looking for. Here we have this gold, this straw-colored gold. We make it ever so slightly. It doesn't need to be that much warmer. Yeah, that's one of those things. There we go. I mean, it doesn't take much, just highlights. Still have our ambient occlusion, our ambient lighting. Okay. Not bad. I'm thinking about anything else that might possibly need doing. I don't know. So, there's two more things that need to be doing here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Deg. Degree 251, maybe? Deg 251? I enjoy working on this, even though I have not done anything like this in years, many years. But I'm glad I still have a lot of it stuck in my head. Okay, so I have two things I need to do still. One, I need to take the black line art, and anywhere that there's not a major silhouette, I generally like to blend the color to match the surroundings. That's easier said than done. Just lighten that there. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely easier said than done, but I can make this work. The second thing I need to do is this layer here, the if I can find it. The what? Here? Yeah. That layer there. That's supposed to actually, I have it set as linear dodge. Oh no, I'm on a different layer. That makes sense. This layer should actually be a bunch of light. I just don't remember what type of light, so I'm gonna have to try it out. I think vivid light is actually a good one for it. Oh, don't you dare go back full. There we go, that is the one. So it's neon, it's quite literally neon. What I need to do is blend it, and I think I have a good brush for that right here. I do have a trowel. Might be able to make that work. I can try doing this one too. Goal is to blend it in so it looks like it's under fur. Not so much on the hands, but we're gonna do it on the hands. But it's supposed to just be a glow underneath the fur that blends into the surrounding areas. I don't need it to be so smudgy, necessarily. Might want to just zoom in and do this with smaller strokes. It's just not really working out the way I want. Sup, Ace? So it just doesn't blend the way I want. Yeah, those are hard trowels, which is not what I actually want. Interesting. What I need is a smudger with a texture on it. Oh, now that's weird. Pixelate. You know, that might work. I think a combination is what's necessary. We'll blend it to blur it at first, just to dull it so it looks like it's under the surface. Then we'll hit it with a textured brush just to get it kind of the rest of the way there. Right, and I should be able to come back with a textured brush of some kind. I like it. Nope. There we go. I can even go in the direction the fur goes. The printer isn't okay. No, printer's not okay. I told you I had to check this one. It was actually okay a minute ago too. I was concerned if it would actually go down on that type of surface. That would be the best surface to print it on. It would print actually very evenly and to scale, but not actually happening. Okay, let's fix it. See, so what actually happened, like I thought, there's not enough surface area right here, so it kind of freaked out. and where it had the widest parts that were also the thinnest, it started coming up off the surface. And I was afraid of that. That happens. This surface is really good for a lot of things, but large surface area, it's not that good with. So, we're going to put that on BuildTak. BuildTak should take that pretty easily. And it should already be hot, so it should take only about a minute to actually start going. Okay. Where was I? Right, this. Okay, that's maybe a little too eccentric. I just need to blend it, not necessarily scramble it. Okay, so we got that. Now we can do this again. Should be able to just go in the direction of the fur and be fine. And this is a simple rendering because technically they're actually three-dimensional objects. Again, I'm not stressing that point, because this wasn't really a big design for me back then. All right. I'm really careful. I can do this without doing a blend brush at all. That'd be really light. Ah! Okay. Go this way still. Okay, that should be good for the indigo bits. There we go. If I cross hatch it, I can spread it a bit more. Okay. There is one more thing to do. Why does it not look like that actually stuck? Damn it, printer! For some reason it offset by a little bit. That's odd. Come on. Like it printed and then it shifted a bit on the second row. And that kind of just unlodged everything. So, the Bakelite actually, it stuck really well to it. I had to really work the my tool to get it pried off. I think this is okay, it just had some irregularities. You can fix that with hairspray! You basically put bumps on the surface when you use the hairspray. Which every now and then you have to do if you're using a material that doesn't actually physically stick to the Bakelite or Phenolite, whichever one you're using. Any of the lights, any of the resin plastics that you can use as a printing surface. Okay, that's not sticking. Why? Oh, because there's a Buildtack sheet already on it. Okay, we'll see if this prints with an even surface. That might have been what was going on with it. That happens. It's never gonna print! I want my pangolin! Eh. The blue, it's actually supposed to be a combination of blue and indigo, but because this scene is already kind of warmish colored, the blue I don't think would really show as well. So I decided to make it entirely indigo. It's kind of there. But it's mostly electric indigo. The blue that I could use would be... Okay, so I need a paintbrush. Cherenkov blue is right about here. It's super bright and saturated, but it's a very specific blue. Nope. I'm not even seeing it right. It's this right here, right? And I don't think that would show so well, and it doesn't. So I'm not actually putting that on there. I'm making it entirely indigo. It can entirely go indigo. The point is when the other person in my head when Evelyn is doing things, taking control, when she's actually like active, everything turns her color, which is indigo, and then the actual blood color of Carbon is the Cherenkov blue. If you ever want to see what I'm talking about, actually look up Cherenkov reactor pictures. It's a specific color you get. It's a blue shift that happens when radiation goes from moving through water to suddenly moving through air. The change in refraction, actually, it slows down the light that's coming out, and you're actually seeing light that has blue shifted from going slower than the speed of light. So people that say, oh, light is the universal constant, no, it isn't. Light can actually move slower than it actually is supposed to. In very, very strange cases. Let me see. Ooh, that's a picture, man. Some of this is pretty good. Okay, let me see if I can find that actual picture here. There you go. That's a good example of Cherenkov radiation. Legitimately, it's reactor radiation just moving through water. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, so I like the way that's looking. It does pop, and it's very specifically a light layer, so it's actually supposed to. We need to add an addition, which I kind of need to do on top, because I believe this one I'm going to want to be a soft light layer. We'll make this actually Cherenkov blue. Yeah, that should be a good way of blending it. And all it is just a very, it needs to be like low opacity. It's just the actual, the reflected bleeding light. So the fur around it and everything's going to be kind of bleeding this color, but then surfaces nearby. That's all above it. This needs to actually be above that. Not above the line art, though. That would be bad. So the goal is you can make things look blue because it's going to be reflecting, you know, the blue is going to reflect off of stuff. It's off of the hair and all that. So you can colorize based on that blue. Quite literally, what I want is a soft light, so soft light is actually a very good layer for it. But you get that radiation blue. You got the blue underneath the tail here, where the actual color hasn't quite come out yet. Like, it's on the tail, on both sides of the tail. I think that actually does it. It's a real subtle thing, subtle effect, but I like to have the detail of it, because otherwise it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't glow right. So that's done. The last thing I need to do is colorize some line art. So we have this, this, and this. That is your hentai superstar? That's pretty much it, I guess. So we have a color layer. We can take this and change the color of any of these outlines. Right? So we can take any of the non-critical lines like this one, right? And we can make it match its surroundings. So here we have gray. There we go. Now, why is that? Oh, because it turned off my alpha lock. Well, alpha lock's not working. Oh, because I'm only doing color. What I actually need to do is overlay? Is overlay the one? I wouldn't think that that would be a screen. Well, it is screen. Now, first thing I need to actually do is this. I need to double up on my line art. Why is it splotchy like this? These layers are very specifically above the other layers. Let's do opacity locks, and then I think it's here, might be under edit. My background color, here we go, we'll make it black. That it didn't want to do. Okay, so we're gonna say edit, fill with background color. Backspace? Backspace is filled with background? Strange. And yet, for some unknown reason, we are still getting these bleed-throughs. Which should not be happening. Okay. That would be the layer. Maybe screen is wrong. Overlay is darker, so I wouldn't think it's that. Let's see. I don't know what's happening with this layer, so I'm going to trash it and try a new one. Oh, right, and probably I should do, well, I should do blended. Blended's fine. Yeah, it's splotchy. I don't know why it's splotchy. If I made this a normal layer and painted, it's still splotchy. And I don't know why. Well, let's go with that. That's close enough. I like it. Is it picking black? Say what? Where's the color picker? Discrete color picker. Tool options. Sample all visible layers. What? Grabbed it that time. That's strange. Okay, so we're doing softening, like that. Does not need to be super bright. Okay, that's doing good. This doesn't need to be there, so we'll color that blue. All internal lines must be colored the same. One of those things I do. Doesn't seem like a biggie, but it does help. That's already being toned because of the lighting around it. That's interesting. Popcorn boba all night long. Okay. Here. Whenever I see you. Hey, it's Pogo! Not gonna see much change in these. Doesn't seem like much, but it's every little thing that matters. Lowering contrast on these lines means the paintwork actually shows a little better. Okay, so we got that. Cell phones. I need to put a blackness in there, on there too. Hot dog! Hot dog! So this should be on its own layer above all the color corrections, because one thing's always the case. You never you never make shiny surfaces affected by cast light and overlight, unless you have you're trying to go for like direct light inside the camera's lens, like an overshine. That's something that's actually you should block everything with, but most of the time you don't want to actually block anything with it. So what we're gonna do here, probably to our detriment, is we're going to draw our black on here. I guess I can just pick black here. So screens tend to be very bluish colored when they're not lit. I'm going to start with blue. What we kind of need to do is make the opacity go down, but we're not going to do it yet. Okay, so we have that base color. That's good. Now we can go really black and set it larger, I think. And fade our black on very unevenly. Right, then we go super black. Do it again. Then we can take this color, really small, and we can actually do that. We have the green of this lamp. It's not Japanese. You just added a hard U to it. And then we're going to put some light waxy shine on top of it. Cool. And again, we go up, we bring our opacity all the way up, and we go super small so we can go there we go. Fat Polly! How you doing? I like the name. Okay. That looks decent. Looks kind of like a reflection. Kinda, sorta. Sorta, maybe. Oh, one thing I never actually did. Where is my... That's my highlight layer. Okay, I need to actually take this and crank up my size here. I need to cool off the light, darken it a lot. There we go. Whew. There we go. That's what it was missing, a little bit of brightness in that corner. You're not doing so good, Fat Pally? What's up? Anything I can help with? Okay. Oh, I didn't read that right. I gotcha. You're doing well, not good. But yes, that is proper grammar. Congratulations! I completely forgot. That's not what I want there. Oh, it is a normal error. That should work.
Is any of this for real or not?
Weird Al songs teach you a lot of things, strangely enough. There we go. Okay, I think I actually might be done this. Except for cropping. It needs to be cropped roughly to that size. Because there's a bunch of waste down below. Let me do a save, just in case. And then let's do some cropping, which I think is a standard crop tool in Krita. We'll find out. think that works because it puts one of the heads on one of my rule of thirds lines, and then following rule of thirds, go out, we go up and over down to here. So yeah, you're still flowing into them. Well, golden rule. I like it. Now we can take this and go export. We want to export this as PNG. And we'll call that our sleepwell underscore 600 because it's 600 DPI. And we'll actually take the image and downsize it too. Scale image to new size. We're going to do a 150, which should be okay. 75 is web format. The 150, that's like a large web format, we're going to say. So, yeah, we're getting banding and stuff. That's kind of a thing. If I do proofing, though, proofing looks okay. Where am I at? That's 100% right there. That doesn't look like it actually resized right. Scale to new size. Oh, because it was using bicubic. Let's do something good like Land Crows. Oh, just take your time. It's okay. It looks a little better. There's our 100%. That actually looks decent. Still a little compressed. But we'll do an export, and that'll be our 150. Then again, we'll undo. Come on. It's just gonna not render, that's fine. And we'll do a 300. Again, we'll do it with our Land Crows. Just take forever. How much RAM am I using? Oh wow, somehow that's actually using 20 gigs of RAM. Oh, you always get color banding whenever you do any downsize that happens to have certain layer types. What I may actually want to do is comp everything down, then export. Okay, so we're going to do 300. Cool, so we're going to undo this. It's going to just not like us at all. Give it a minute. Exporting document. Yay. This is why you save before you do resizes. The one thing that Krita is not the best at is direct image manipulation with large files. You can totally fake it till you make it, but Photoshop does come in handy for that. I hate Photoshop with a passion, but man, it's good for that kind of stuff. Close all, yes. Do not want to save. I want to open it again. Okay, now this time I'm going to make all these layers flattened. Here, flatten image. Okay, looks like it got done, so we'll do a final export this way. Okay, index we don't need, interlacing's bad. I could embed my sRGB profile, which would give better color accuracy, but I don't really know if it's necessary. We'll go okay. Cool, so we go to image, and then we go to scale to new size with the Landcrow's filter. We're gonna make it 300. And notice the banding and all is pretty much non-existent now. Take your time, Krita! It's so slow. I didn't get a dialogue. Okay. Usually it has a little dialogue, little thing at the bottom on the status screen. I guess it's just not going to do it. It's going exporting document 0%, so I'm guessing that's maybe where the issue is. What doesn't help is that it's saving to a virtual drive that's in RAM and on a solid state, but is actually saving to a spinning platter drive. So that's probably why it's acting weird. I should undo, but we're gonna see what happens if I do another scale from here. Usually scaling twice gives you some weird artifacts. No, actually that looks pretty good. Do our export as 150. Straight up. Ah, yes! The art is done. It's been a journey of relearning damn well everything. So let me actually look at this on a color accurate monitor. The one I have is technically color accurate, but it's low brightness right now. Make sure it actually has the right colors I want. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing good. So that puts me at 10:37. Wow, hour before I usually get off. My goal is to actually get off at 11, so this is actually pretty close. This is a really good output. I like this. So this went, let me open up the original here. And it's technically already open, so it probably doesn't want to open a copy. No, it does. So, we went through a journey. Major journey. Yay, line art. Let me hide the line art real quick. Actually collapse a few of these damn groups. So, start off with a rough, right? And it's super rough. I'll just layer it on top. Then we refined our rough, which, as you can see, is super light. It's an underpainting more than anything. And my original goal was to actually just do straight painting, but I haven't done line art in a while, and I wanted to try out some of the line art features that I know Manga Studio has. What is it? Clip Studio Paint. That's the official name now. So I went, okay, cool. Let's make some line art, which would be this. And all of this line art, which is colorized, mind you, I've colorized the internal lines, but it was all black when I made it, is a straight up G pen, which is a hard chisel pen that I've thickened and all that, and I made super nice line art, at least considering how quickly this project went down. Purposely left a lot of things flat and unfilled, and that is because... So if I turn my flats on here, it's not entirely flat, is it? I have all my paint layers in here too. I really should not have done that, but you know what? It works. So like, in this case, boom. We have Adrian. I gave him his flat colors, which are all effectively just his base fur colors. Then filled it in with highlights and shadows. By default, we have shadows, and then... Where are the highlights? Highlights were here? Yeah. Carbon was... Where is he? Carbon right here. So Carbon was super flat too. And I had to then come back and put all the nice toning and shadows to make him actually fleshed out. And the glow layer for, there's little glowing tendrils underneath the fur. That's a little weird to make, but I made it fuzzy, right? And it's actually I think it's a hard light layer is what I ended up making it, but it's a kind of a cheapo way of doing it for now. Really, that needs to be painted to show it properly. Directly painted as in blending the color with the actual fur around it. But that's pretty good for a cheap shot. But then we have our darkening layer, which it's more than just darkening. This layer is an inverse subtract layer, which if I make it normal for you, I mean, it's pretty weird, but it's a bright layer because wherever it's bright, wherever it's white, it'll subtract. And we actually wanted to subtract away blue because the way that inverse subtract actually works, straight subtract would subtract the blue. Inverse subtract subtracts everything but the blue, so you get a blue shadow in return. Now if I can remember where that is. The arithmetic inverse subtract. It's one of the more helpful layers if you actually understand how it works. It's good for darkening things because it'll actually darken them by color. So it's doing it based on saturation and value at the same time. So it's what you as an artist would do by changing the colors manually to have that colorized shadow. It's a nice thing to learn. And as far as I know, the only programs that support it are dedicated paint programs because of that. So Corel Painter and Krita are the two I know that have that layer type. You have a lightning layer here that's a color dodge. All it's designed to do is give you the color of the lamp here. And then we have this very light gamma layer, A gamma light layer. Oh, did I just tap that? A gamma light layer changes the multiply on so gamma is it's a measure of luminance, but it's a multiplier. So a gamma of 1 means that whatever color you have is its color, but a gamma of 2 means that whatever color is in that pixel is going to be 2 times whatever it should be in terms of brightness, and in this case also saturation. So you can use that to your advantage. It's like a multiply layer, but kind of inverted. It's a multiply for whites instead of blacks. But it only really works on white and black. It only changes the brightness and the saturation. It does not necessarily change color the way that a multiply layer does. We've got our linear dodge layer, and that's just to put down the actual radiance on the light source. Right, so without that, it's flat. With that, we have our highlights that pop. And then we have this extra little layer here that is just, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just the reflection on the phones, which actually is incorrect because one of them is leaning on the other, so it shouldn't even really be able to reflect the lamp. It'll reflect more of the bed side of the room. But screw it, I just put the same reflection on. I'm an artist, I can do what I want. But yeah. I do particularly like that the cell phones mimic the actual characters. It's nice. But can you do this? Oh god, why am I channeling Pewds right now? But yeah, so that's the process I went through. That took 4 days roundabout. Now that's considering I haven't learned anything in a while. I haven't done anything in a while that's related to this. I haven't cracked open a book. I usually have some forms of reference. I had no references, which is kind of why the actual bodies and all look a little wrong. I kind of painted them to make them look fleshed out, right, rounded and whatnot, but could have been done better. I'm purposely kind of ignoring perspective in some cases. I don't know, it's interesting. My two things that I absolutely hate in life would be this kind of face. I don't know if you can see where I'm poking at here. Here, I can make the tool bigger so you can see. Oh, what? No! Hey, mustache! Oh, this turned off. That helps. So, this up here, this guy's face, Adrian's face, I'm not... There's two angles I suck at, and it's because the way that I think about those angles due to doing 3D modeling is actually the isometric version of it, not with perspective. So it's actually hard for me for kind of the same reason. It's hard for me to do directly facing you faces and directly sideways faces because I want to draw the actual outline as if it were isometric. Like there's no perspective, there's no... because you have eyes that then have to travel outward to see the edges of someone's face, technically you're not seeing the edges of their face, you're only seeing kind of a little bit of the bevel on the inside. So you don't see the back sides of their head, you barely see their ears poking out the sides if you're actually up close to someone, but then the further away you get, the more linear the view gets. So your vision's like that, not like that. Isometric is like that. It's just straight projection. So it's hard for me to do those, but I purposely chose poses that made me do that for the faces. I chose very complex hand positions because hands are just evil. Yeah, hands are just evil. And it's not that they're bad. I mean, once I start actually putting definition into the actual grooves and whatnot on a hand, they look a lot more like hands, especially the wrist. The wrist has bumps in it that if you just draw a silhouette of the wrist, it doesn't look right. But then you start drawing the actual curves and highlights and shadows, and I mean, that looks a lot better when you start doing that. That's kind of a weird, crappy hand. That one's too small, but who cares? Right? I mean, I care, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't necessarily matter. That's a pretty good sized hand. Especially considering the size. The person that represents, Adrian, the husky, he used to be a tall dude. He was 6'8". So he had like large hands and lanky arms, and it was really weird trying to draw his body without making like his torso too stretched long and all that. So I tried my best. But yeah, I think it captures enough that I'm happy. Certain things like the hip here should be lifting that blanket more, and actually the angles for all the lighting and stuff aren't quite right, but it's fine. The tail, I think I got the lighting on pretty good. But yeah, that's another one of those weird bits. Otter tails are kind of weird for me. I can envision them, but again, just getting the tapering right is weird. Yeah, overall, I think this was a really good project. Good learning experience. And I'm gonna have a ton of fun. So moving on from here out, I'm gonna start doing a lot more sketches, daily stuff. I'm just gonna take a lot of reference work, a lot of photos and all that, and I'm gonna start sketching based off of those. Videos, I might watch movies and stuff and just start sketching scenes, just for poses and whatnot. And my goal is to get to the point where I'm sketching and I'm not afraid. I want to, one, develop a more cartoon-styled image, like the actual look and feel of everything. Not necessarily proportion-wise, but just the exaggeration of everything. Maybe so I can even start animating. Animating would be fun. But that takes a lot of gesture work. It takes a lot of trying different angles. You have to be able to draw at all kinds of angles. So it helps if you draw like, you know, someone facing one way and then slightly at a different angle, which is where movies come in handy, because you just randomly pause frames within a scene and you get the characters making slight motions. So all the different positions are good for drawing sources. But that's kind of the goal. Draw and draw and draw. Lots and lots of sketches. Painting will come later. I'll do more of this. I'll do more actual full paint jobs, not necessarily with line art. I kind of like not having line art because I can make a sketch here. Oh, it looks a little sketchier overall, but I can do things like where there's a hard line, it's really hard to do like fur. So if I want to make fur poking out, I have to kind of do like I did here and actually draw the fur. Like hard outline, and that's not fun. Like you can do it, but it just ruins the look of fur. Now considering how far away you're supposed to be for that, and how that's kind of a major set of tufts, I think that's okay. But like if I did that all along the edges of the arms, or like you've got all of this, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but you've got you normally would have kind of tufts everywhere that you bend an angle, there would be fur poking out from that angle. So that's one of those things that if I'm painting, I can just paint the fur like that. So that's my ultimate goal, is to have a style that's simplistic enough that I can just paint it directly. I don't have to do line art. I can do sketching, of course, under sketches, and then I can paint with more direct, hard etchings. Kind of the way some of my shadows are. Some of these shadows are hard lined shadows. And that's kind of the idea. And if all goes well, it'll work out in my favor. I'll get, it's just practice at this point. But that's the goal. That's the goal, is to have lots and lots of practice. And lots of fun music! Okay, I am taking a look at this pangolin and it looks... It's gonna take forever to print. What's it saying? It's saying... 22 hours! Yeah! It'll be ready tomorrow, so I most likely am not going to hardcore stream tomorrow. I might get on and do some more just final touches to this. Tomorrow's a really bad day for me, but I might get on and do some final touches. I have personal reasons for not wanting to do anything tomorrow. Namely the person that's in here. But yeah, I will most likely not be on doing that. But Saturday I'm going to be back on. I'll be doing sketches. Sunday I'll probably be playing games. I may or may not stream games, but I'll definitely be playing games. I generally want to stream now though, so it's not a problem. I have a processor now that is crazy capable of streaming while playing games, so I have no issues with that. I just need to set it up. I need my setup to actually work on my ultra wide. It's not quite nice. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. I mean, I'm kind of working on it, but I need to finish layouts and all that. If I can get it working, then yeah, I'll stream games. I have a couple more games I just bought from Steam, so it could be pretty cool to play something. If I'm not drawing, I'm playing games, and during the week, 8 o'clock Central is when I get on. I go up until around 11. So who knows? If I'm sketching, I may or may not just feel like doing quick sketches, which could be half an hour, but for the most part, I'm going to try and push myself to do at least an hour of content every day. And we'll see where that goes. Sketch. Sketch and sketch and sketch. Do all the sketches. More sketches. It'll be fun. Ugh. Turn you off. Cool. So, I have a dog that desperately wants to go outside. So this is as good a time as ever to shut things down. I appreciate you guys for watching. And again, I most likely will not be on tomorrow. If I am, then hey, cool. But I most likely will not be. But Saturday, I'll see you guys again, and we'll be able to have some fun doing some stuff. Actually, just because this was a lot of work, I might just play games this weekend. Couple good games to try out. And VR, actually, I might be doing VR tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday. I have a new headset I'm actually messing around with, but a bunch of new games have recently come out, too. So we'll see. But I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. That's awesome. I actually don't expect anything out of you guys. Just have fun. And why is this not... My mouse never wants to play nice. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my VR headset as a 5th screen. So it's hard to get my mouse to move around where I want it. There we go. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.